What time did you leave the waterfall?
I don't remember.
Did you leave at 5 p.m.?
I don't remember.
So it could have been 5 p.m. that you left.
Could have been 5 in the morning. I don't know.
Okay. Leaving aside what time it was, or strike that. Will you testify that you were at 34 Fairview Road on January 29th after midnight?
I don't remember a time.
Okay.
Welcome back to Fair and Square. Lulu Bell here. Thank you so much for returning. And for those who have arrived here for the very first time, welcome. Thanks for taking the time. We really appreciate it. Now, as the trial unfolds in the Karen Read case, it's kind of like peeling back the layers of an onion. Each revelation seems to provide more question than answers, leaving us scratching our heads in bewilderment. It really is like that, isn't it? One can't help but notice the continuous coincidences and potential missing pieces of the puzzle. I'm starting to wonder if they're missing pieces of puzzle or if there's too many pieces of puzzle and they've come from different boxes. It's just a bit of an overlapping mess. Is it just a case of unfortunate happenstance? Or is there something slightly more sinister lurking beneath the surface? Tristan Morris was among the group present at the Waterfall Bar and Grill on the night of January the 28th, 2022. Tristan is Caitlin Albert's boyfriend, okay? So when he was there that evening, of course, it included Karen Read and John O'Keefe and members of the Albert family. Departing earlier than the rest, Morris initially planned to return home to Easton to begin ploughing around 3 a.m. However, during his cross-examination, defence attorney Yannetti probed into Morris's change of plans, questioning why he returned to 34 Fairview to pick up his girlfriend instead. Morris, and this was just an accident, just totally rolled off his tongue. I don't think he meant to be funny, but Morris humorously responded that she was high maintenance, and that elicited laughter from the courtroom, as you can imagine. Further questioning from Yannetti regarding the timing of his arrival yielded uncertainty from Morris. Additionally, Morris testified that he observed nothing unusual in the yard. Now, I can kind of see how that could play out. He's really tired. He has to be at work. He doesn't know when he's going to be at work. At some point, he had, of course, mentioned 3 a.m. earlier on. Now, here's the thing. He can't remember any times. It is that vague. And for the life of me, I cannot work out why he wasn't interviewed earlier on. But he's been allowed to go for that length of time, and now conveniently for the Alberts, he can't recall any of those times. If he was interviewed earlier, then surely he would still have the phone records from when he was texted and when he was called. He would know exactly when he was there. You would think that would be pretty integral considering the timing of when he was out the front. Frustrating, isn't it? Really is. Anyway, that aside, supposedly, this is where I scratch my head here, because you would think that the next day, the conversation between himself and Caitlin would have been all about what happened in the early hours. The fact that John O'Keefe was discovered outside her father's home and they had been there. That's a big event. You're going to remember. You're going to go, what time did I text you? What time did you come? Did you see anything strange? It isn't just any other day that you can file away and forget about, merging in, as that's just what happens over time, isn't it? Your memory fades. Fair enough. This isn't any other day. This is a pretty significant event. I find it very difficult to believe that he can't recall the time. No one finds that odd. He had work early in the morning. He gets a call or a text from his girlfriend, come and pick me up. It's a change of plans. It's snowing outside. He has to get in his car, get dressed, presumably he was in bed, drives all the way out there. At no point does he look at the time and go, gosh, I wonder if I have to be called into work soon. It must be getting pretty close to when I've got to go to work. He would have his eyes on the time, and of course, years later, if nothing had happened that evening, you'd forget about it. Of course you would. But something did happen. Something significant happened, and he was never interviewed. Oh, come on. Tristan's inability to recall crucial time information and the additional pieces of information certainly raises eyebrows, doesn't it? Let's be honest. Even I'm trying to remain as neutral as possible, sitting on the fence here, trying just to provide all the testimonies and the facts and evidence coming from the horse's mouth, so then we can go back through with a fine-tooth comb and pick up any outstanding little pieces of information that come to hand that raise more questions. And that's all you can do, right? You know, innocent until proven guilty. If somebody's guilty, provide all the information and the facts, and it should create a pretty clear picture as long as everyone's being truthful and honest. At the end of the day, John O'Keefe tragically died as a result of something that happened in the early hours of that morning. The family deserved the truth. He deserved the truth. The children that he was looking after, he was the guardian for, they deserve the truth. There's so many victims in this. There's so many layers. And if Karen Read is innocent, horrendous. And if the Alberts had nothing to do with it, horrendous. So let's be honest. Just be honest. That's all that people want, right? The light of truth to shine bright. That's all. Now, in Tristan's case, while it's natural for memory to fade over time, the silence surrounding the certain details in Tristan's testimony does give pause for thought, in my opinion anyway. In a case where every single little detail matters, such gaps in memory can be perceived as significant, potentially leaving room for speculation and further scrutiny. Whether the silence speaks volumes or merely reflects the complexity of the situation remains to be seen, but it certainly adds to the intrigue surrounding the trial. So many coincidences converging in one narrative, it is no wonder suspicions of a cover-up loom large. As we sift through the clues and connect the dots, one thing becomes abundantly clear: there is more to this case than meets the eye.